I am back. I am talking about The House of Eve, of course. So I am about, let's see, 159 pages in. You definitely cannot see that. I'm 159 pages in The House of Eve. I am absolutely eating this book up. Immediately off the back, I absolutely knew I was going to love it. So far, I have been introduced to two main characters, Ruby and Eleanor. Ruby is from Philadelphia, and she's currently in high school, and she is on the path to be a first-time family member to go to college. And then there's also Eleanor. She is in Washington, D.C., attending Howard. And so right now I'm just kind of learning about both of their lives. I've actually reached part 2 of this book, and so Ruby is, doing her best to, do everything she can to get good grades in school, be at the top of her class, do everything that she needs to do to get into college. And so along the way, she's gone through some things with her mother, and just have so many different hardships, and it's been really tough for her. So this book also, just so you know, takes place in the 1950s, and both are Black women. And so of course, just dealing with being Black in America during that time, and having to deal with so many hardships. And so she is going through it, and then in the midst of it, she has also met, or I think she may have grown up with him, but she meets someone named Shimmy. They actually have a thing, but he is white. And like I mentioned, she's Black, and so they've gone back and forth. She's having to, get in the backseat of his car, and they're, sneaking around, and no one can see them together, and everything like that. And so they've broken up, they've gotten back together, and I'm currently in the stage where she is pregnant. Or she was pregnant, and then it went to part 2, which I think is like a year later, I believe. And so let's talk about Eleanor a little bit. So with Eleanor, she's attending Howard. She, I believe she's also the first in her family to go to college as well. But she's attending Howard, but she's also working in the library at her school. But basically she's working at her school to help pay for her tuition and schooling. And then in addition to that, she's also gotten a job at a clothing store as well, to do everything that she can, because she is trying to pay for her own schooling. Her parents have done, so much for her, and she's like, this is the least that I can do. So she has been doing that. In the midst of that, she meets William in the library. This boy named William, she meets him, and they hit it off immediately. And some things to note is that she has a darker skin tone than William. She goes to meet his family, and just family friends that are also at the house, and she mistakes them for being white. And she then realizes that she is surrounded by other Black people that are lighter than her. And so she's never been in that type of situation. Oddly enough, she also gets pregnant. They then decide to marry each other. William's mom is very upset about it. He has another friend that he grew up with that mom would prefer him to be with, and it's all because of color. She's essentially too dark for William in the eyes of his mom, and so she starts to get wind of that information. So she's dealing with that. So she gets pregnant, she's then having to, or rather they then decide to get married, and right before getting married, she actually loses the baby. She has a miscarriage, and so they still end up getting married. And then now I just got to part 2, so now it's a year later. Eleanor is actually pregnant again. She's, you know, of course, married to William. It's kind of going a little bit, you're getting more of kind of what her married life is looking like. She's still going to school, and then in part 2, Ruby, she is I believe in her senior year of high school now. At the beginning she was in her 10th grade year, so her sophomore year, and so now she's in her senior year, and is still, you know, doing everything she can to get into college. And so she had broken up with Shimmy. They had stopped talking, and she actually just started talking to him again, so we were reintroduced to him. So yeah, I am absolutely loving this book. It is so good. I am just like flying through it right now. I'm very interested though to see if the two stories come together. Like at first I was like, oh, surely Ruby is going to go to college and go to Howard, and Ruby and Eleanor meet at Howard. But now I don't think that's the case, because Eleanor is, I believe, wrapping up her schooling, and Ruby still has not even gotten into college yet. So I'm very interested to see how their lives connect to one another. I'm still like very intrigued by that. So yeah, we'll see. So for those of you that have read this book, let me know your thoughts. Let me know. But yeah, that's where we are right now, and I'll keep you guys updated as we go. Hey guys, so I finished the House of Eve. I finished the House of Eve today. I had some errands to run, so I kind of just brought it with me and just wrapped it up. You guys, that book was so good. Absolutely loved it. I updated my Goodreads, so for those of you that don't know, I actually have a Goodreads now, so I feel like I'm a part of the book world for real now. But yeah, I got a Goodreads account and I updated all of my thoughts and things there. I rated that book 5 stars. It was so good, and it also just kind of made me aware of the fact that I don't read as many books with a woman of color as the main character, and I need to do that more. It was so enlightening, this story, and I don't want to like give too much away. I know I kind of talked a bit in detail in earlier clips, and so I won't give you guys any more as far as like the end goes for those of you that want to read it. Yeah, definitely pick that book up. She also wrote, the author, she also wrote another book called Yellow Wife, and I had never heard of that, so I really want to pick that up. I went to the library though, I looked for it, and it wasn't at my local branch, so I didn't pick that up today, but I did get some other books that I wanted to show you. So first up, I got The Last Thing He Told Me. So this is a thriller. I know nothing about it. I was watching a booktuber today, and she mentioned it and said it was like a really fast-paced thriller. So I was like, oh, let me try to see if they have this at the library, so that I could kind of just switch it up and kind of just read something like super easy. So I'm hoping within like the next 2 days or so, I would be able to finish this one. So let me know your thoughts, of course. And then next one, I got Park Avenue Summer. So again, I don't know anything about this other than people, I believe, have compared it to like The Devil Wears Prada, and I absolutely love that movie. I never read the book or anything like that, but it is compared to The Devil Wears Prada. So excited to get into this. I believe this one is a historical fiction. I believe it's a historical fiction. So yeah, if you've read this one, let me know as well, of course. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to let you know that I wrapped up The House of Eve. It was absolutely amazing, and then just show you guys these books. But of course, I'm gonna take you along the journey this week as I continue to read, and you'll get to see my thoughts.